Good morning, Slotheads. Here we are again, back in the saddle. A couple weeks down. What? 2 weeks ago, I've been on the road again.
Yeah,
Going back on the road on Monday.
Mr. World Traveler.
I don't know about world traveler, but Midwest traveler for sure. Midwest U.S.
That's more than I do.
traveling for work. Um,
Do anything cool?
yeah, yeah. I drove a giant box truck around the country and loaded samples into a hotel.
No, no, no. You
Showed
did some cool
showed
stuff.
some customers.
You did
I
some
did
cool.
get to go to a minor league baseball game in Lincoln, Nebraska. That was fun. Had a few beers. Had some $2 red hot dogs. It was good. But yeah, it was fun.
You didn't go mountain climbing. This I want to hear about this story.
No, that's not yet. That's in a couple weeks. That's why I
Oh,
won't
okay,
be
okay,
at the next
okay.
show. Good segue though.
Oh,
Joe will be flying solo on the next show in 2 weeks because
well,
I will
yeah.
be at a work event. We'll say climbing a mountain, really just walking up to the peak of a mountain with some clients and colleagues and other stuff out in Tahoe. So that should be fun. But uh,
Man.
but yeah, no, I haven't done that yet. So this might be my last show because I might not make it back. We'll never
You'll
know.
make it. You'll make it. You might have a broken foot, but you'll make it. You know.
But
Um,
yeah, so we got a new layout too. I think you guys can see. We went for the quad box.
yeah.
Um, so
You can see
you
my
got our
salad
lovely
fingers.
faces and what's going on. So you'll see. I'm gonna go over and run some laps here in a little while. But yeah, let's say hi
Let's
to
do
the
it.
chat. Let's see if this works. We got Garth from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. I'm heading up into to Wisconsin in a couple weeks. Not quite, but Great Lakes area. I like it. Mark from Slot Journal is here this morning.
Mark, I finally sent you a picture and an explanation on Discord, so we're good to go. And yeah, whenever we have a chance, we can discuss my issue with my scenery. Appreciate it.
There you go.
Sorry.
I skipped a few because we got people watching. This is kind of crazy. We got
Yeah.
all kinds of people in here. Doug is here this morning. He's saying good morning. And then our faithful
Morning, Doug.
watcher, Liam, is here.
Hey,
Thanks,
buddy.
Liam, as always, for joining us. Let's see. We got John Tucci in the
Mr.
house. Thanks,
Tucci.
John. We got So Fast Speedway.
Ron, man, you're up early, bro.
He said he was setting an alarm. Yeah. He said he was setting an alarm on your post. So I told him I have to make sure I don't miss it.
Yeah. Well, I got Jen in the morning. Hey,
And I'm
hey,
not nearly that early.
hey, aren't you doing your thing this morning? I'm like, yeah. What time is it? She's like, it's 7:30. I'm like, I got time. I got time.
We've got Shellfish in the house.
What's up, man?
Big contributor on the Discord lately. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, and it's so great to watch these tracks progress. And I really love it when all you guys share your stuff. And even though it doesn't seem like there's the much activity, just the fact to read those comments and to read and to see the progression of everyone's track, it's great because we're all involved, right? You get to see everyone's journey, and we're like, oh yeah, I remember that, or like, oh, that's a good idea, you know. So thanks a
Yeah.
lot for that, Shellfish.
It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun now that we've got a really good group of folks on the Discord now, and especially when I'm on the road and away from my own track, it's nice to check in on everybody else's track and, and still be part of the conversation. So that's
Yeah.
that's been a lot of fun. Um, Mark says he's looking at your note right now about
Uh oh,
a
he's gonna come
scenery
back
issue.
and
So there you
shake his
go.
finger and be like, Joseph.
No, no, shame. Um, oh, Shallowfish says his track pieces come
Yeah,
today.
man.
So you are right there, buddy. That's awesome. Very cool. And that's kind of what we were going to talk about today. Who knows if we actually will, because sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But track layouts. Was it not last week? The week before, I was home, and Joe and I like to bounce ideas off each other throughout the week, and we were sharing some some layouts that we've been thinking about adding to our own tracks or changing or that sort of thing. And my big thing was that the layout that I was going to add was or that I'm dreaming of and I'm thinking of requires me to add a whole another like 4 by 8 foot table on the end and extend each of these out by a half a foot or so, and simmering on that and having some windshield time over the last week is like, you know what? I kind of like being married and not getting kicked out of this house. So probably not going to go with that layout.
Uh,
Because not sure I want to take over the whole basement. And to be
what?
completely honest, the whole reason I was thinking about it, and Joe and I, we've talked about this, is that I really want to try some more permanent scenery. I really want to do that. I
Mhm.
miss it from my old track. And the thing that's been like sort of holding me back is that I really like swapping out my layout every once in a while. And so in going through and doing some, tweaking of designs and trying to figure out this and that, I left for a while and then came back and I like came down and ran a few laps last night and I was like, I really like this layout. Like, what am I doing? It's like it's a acceptable size. It's a good length track. It's nothing crazy insane. And there's certainly some things I can do to it. I want to make some elevation changes. Not like
Right.
crazy, no overpasses, but like have some
Yeah.
higher, some mid, some low, just so that there's a little bit, because no real track in real life is, I mean, none of them are super flat unless it's like an oval.
Well, no, I mean they've all got elevations, and that's what you don't see, right? You see like Monza and whatever in Australia and
Yeah.
this and all the famous tracks. You see the layouts, and some people frame them, but you don't realize the elevations of it. Like that itself is the technical part,
Right.
right? Just the
Right.
elevation.
Yeah,
So
adds a little bit extra
yeah,
trickiness to it for sure. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm leaving again this week. When I come back next weekend, I may completely change my mind and be like, no, I want to do it. But yeah, I like it. It flows well. It's fun to race, and I know there's plenty of room. I mean, you can see it, from my overhead. There's plenty of gray space there, and that gray space can be filled with scenery and all kinds of cool stuff. So,
hmm
so yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. And my table's already built, so I just gotta, you know, tweak them a little bit to get some elevation and then I'll save some money. I've got all the track, obviously, it's put together, so I don't have to mess with that.
I mean it's crazy because I'm looking at that track going like, I wish I had that space, and you're like, oh, I can go bigger. I'm like, oh man, like I'm about to get there. The date is January 24th, 25th, that weekend. I'm gonna go see Raul. I'm gonna go pick up some track and a few other things, and it's gonna be my try to monthly visit to Toronto, see my family there too. And so it was supposed to be July, so I'm pretty excited that it's a little earlier, but at the same time
Wait, when is it?
in June 25th.
Oh, I thought you said January. I don't know why you said. I thought you
Did I
said
say
January.
January? I might have said January. I don't know. I'm in my head, but I got to still build another 2 feet, no 6, yeah, 2 feet by 8 foot table to attach my to make my table a full 12 by 8 feet, and that's it. I'm done. And I think I can get away with keeping the shelves back there. So just that
Uh,
alone is, and then I'm struggling with, do I lower it 2 inches? Do I raise
yeah,
it?
we were talking about that too.
You know,
I want to go. I'm on the rule boat when he was on here talking to us about it. That I'm tempted to go real low, like real low, like yeah, like 20 inches.
no, that's too low, man. Like I think 30
But then
inches.
you have like a bird's eye view of it. I think it would be rad.
Well, at 32, what I love about 32 inches of for my thing, 32 plus 5/8 of an inch for the plywood, is that I don't have to bend my back to grab the cars. My hand just goes like this,
That's
and
fair.
I grab them. When the car is extended, okay, fine, you bend over and you grab it. Fine, you have no choice. And in an 8 foot table, I'm gonna need the claw, regardless that I can go on either side, right? Because even
Yeah,
last
yeah.
night, having the cousins over, car goes off in the corner, and I'm like, well, you're closest, so get there
Go
because I'm
get
not
it.
exactly. It's like, come on, guys, we have to help each other marshal here, and then so it's one of those things. But that's going through my head. I'm like, okay, when I have an 8 foot, this is, and if I'm racing alone or with just Jen and I, this is going to be more of an issue. It's like, okay, But there shouldn't be that many crashes because again, the curves are getting lost, and then I have to figure out, that little kink that I designed is kind of like in the middle, so we should be okay. And these are things you got to think about. These are things about like, okay, where are the most accident prone areas, right? I had a car fly off the table again yesterday. I almost lost my mind, um, but that's because the track kind of protrudes and um, my table gate, what's that called? My catch fence was completely sideways,
Uh,
and the car did this like roll. Jen rolled her car, and then it
Dude,
just like made it like a ramp.
right up the ramp.
And I'm like, what? What? And she's like, it's okay. It hit my foot. And I'm like, it's your car. I'm like looking at it, like, okay, it's good. It's good. I don't feel like spending another just for that livery, right? For the pink Audi. But so it's stuff you think
Yeah.
about. Like, okay, it really has to be like this. It really has to be like that. It's good. It's track planning, man. Talk about it for days.
It's fun. I mean, it's like a niche of the hobby, right? It's a whole, and it's fun to dream and like, I always design the track and I'm
Dream.
like, oh, I could add one more table to it, and then I like add a bunch of track and do all this stuff, and then I like look at my, it, like, saves the track list of what I actually have and what I need, and I look at it, I'm like, yeah, okay, so can't afford that right now because that's like a whole nother digital set worth of worth of track
Oh,
that I
man.
need, and so then it's like, okay, reel it in. Let's be a little more realistic. Let's get it together. It's like, yeah, if I mean, I have the space that I could, do like 60 feet down here if I really wanted, looping around the whole basement. But then nothing else would be down here, and I would have to live down here all the time, including sleep, because I would not be allowed upstairs.
But even just adding like one table and making that just enlarging your track because it
Yeah.
looks like such a great layout, right? It's like I'd love to race that
Yeah, and I think it's really.
because I saw your redesign. It's really cool, but I'm looking at this going, why don't you, if you just put an extra table, just extend this guy out, right? Find those straights, make them longer, get some more hammer time.
Yeah, but if I add more to the table, I'm gonna go with that other layout. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go big. We'll see. I'm just gonna stick with this one for a little while. I can't. I don't have time in my work life schedule to work on scenery or anything permanent for a couple months anyway. So
No, we got products to put out, buddy. We got products to
yeah,
put out.
I got that too. It's kind of funny.
We
It's
got that
with
too. No,
the.
that's what you have. Don't leave me on this one now. I'm so excited
It's
about
funny. It's like this thing with my brain that like I've been working on that garage for so long, right? We've been tweaking on it, and I've been printing this and like, oh, fixing this and fixing that, and then like now that that one's done and it's like it works, it's like it's awesome,
it. Yeah.
and then I kind of hit like a roadblock, and I'm like, well, it works. There's nothing to do with that one right now, and there's lots to do, like print a bunch of them so that I can sell them and share them with the community. But it is funny that it's just like I get this mental roadblock that's just like, oh, I'm done with that. What's next? I'm like, nah, you are not anywhere near done with that. Like, it is
It's
done
complicated.
designing, but I got a lot of work. But yeah, looks like we've got a couple newcomers to the chat. We've got Slot Car Dude
Hey, how you doing? How you doing,
and
Nico?
the Slot
Thanks so much
Car
for the interview.
the Slot
Um,
Car Dojo too.
nice. If anyone hasn't seen it, and I don't know why I keep doing this, I keep thinking that I press save. It was supposed to be launched Friday afternoon. I did an interview beyond the slot with Nico from that slot car dude, and then
Very
I'm
cool.
like, man, I got no views. It's kind of weird. Like I'm not expecting a lot, but it was after 7 hours, normally I get like a like or a comment or something. And then Jen's like, I don't see it, and I'm like, oh, because it's still unlisted. I'm like, come on, like I can't even like just it's simple stuff, Joe. Simple stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then Jennifer, smart man, keep the wife happy. Yeah, thanks, babe.
yeah. Well, I think that was my comment to not take over the whole basement. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, man, that's for sure. So, racing. Speaking of, um, yesterday I noticed some stuff, and I don't know if you guys are using the Smart Race app. I mean, probably are, probably not, depending on if you're analog or not. But I noticed some stuff that I kind of maybe want to bring up to the developers in the gas while racing yesterday with the fam. I noticed that in the Smart Race app, smart fueling system, and their more intelligent way of fueling, you can cheat the system. You can cheat the system by driving into the pit, not going as fast, and still, or just trying to find that sweet spot. Go in, leave, and the system will fuel you up. I mean, technically, you got into the pits and you lost some time, but if you strategize that properly, and I didn't do it because I was just more trying to race, and I figured the family would catch on, and I don't feel like, especially to the newcomers, I had a cousin who hadn't raced in a while, like to be like, oh, is this how you're playing? You're cheating the system. Like I didn't want to put that impression on that, but it's something that I noted that because I went to the pits by accident and it fueled up, not a lot, but I mean, a considerable amount, and I'm like a good chunk, and I'm like, well, if I just did this strategically, I
Like
wouldn't have
you were
to do
going
it.
full speed through the pit?
No, full speed it won't pick it up, but slow enough where I just pulled in and just left, and the computer just went beep, gave me
Just a
that
little
extra.
blip. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Huh.
like, well, hold on a minute now. Like, I could wait. I don't, as soon as I get to see the half, I could do that a couple times and then catch up. And then when everyone goes into the pit to actually fuel up, because everyone thinks, hey, I got to stop to go to maximum. That's when I can catch up my laps and just keep doing that. Like call it a quick pit. So I got to test that out to see if entering more frequently but not as fast is going to help, or um, be more detrimental to the timings. And it was I don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. You know.
Sounds like an experiment, Joe.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got to do some testing, and I'm sure we would all love to watch it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. A video of me just going around
Yeah.
laughing.
Well, no, no. We would like to see the results. I don't know if we would
Yeah.
like to see you do it, because if we would like to see you do it, we would all do it ourselves. But we know that you'll go through and do the legwork.
Oh yeah. No, that's what's gonna have to happen, and be like, okay, what's going on? What's the speed, and is it even realistic? Or uh, it's because I like, and you said last time we spoke about this, I like the fact that you don't have to press down the trigger.
Yeah.
But that's what's new about it. You don't have to. And I had to remind my cousin and his girlfriend. I'm like, guys, don't. Why are you pressing the button? And I'm like, don't. I said you didn't have to press the button in the pits anymore, because they remembered from last time, so they were just
Yeah.
used to it. And I didn't tell them, oh yeah, by the way, right? I mean, I kind of mentioned it, but it doesn't click. Everyone's excited. We're talking. We're drinking. Everyone's just like smashing, having a good laugh. I'm getting frustrated in the corner. Like, stop! Like, let's race for real. Stop having a good time. Like, let's race for serious. My cousin's like, why are you so tense? I'm like, no, because you guys, like, I'm not even racing. I'm marshaling. Like, I'm like, be serious about this. It's
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. And then then you realize it's like, oh no, like let's just reel it in. Let's reel it in, Pete. Come on.
even Jen's like, relax. I mean, she was half a bottle of wine in too, so I mean that balance was off, right? So she's like, just
That'll help you
relax,
relax.
and she's talking, and the and the countdown's going, and she's like, oh, I remember. I'm like, pay attention, you're gonna go. Someone's gonna jumpstart. I'm like, oh.
The
And they look up and
countdown is going.
like, how many times do we get a red flag? I'm like, you guys are at 5 laps. There's 50 more to go. We're at 5 laps. It's been 20 minutes. Like, stop.
Yeah, we had last time I had some people over, which is a couple weeks ago now. We had some weird and I couldn't replicate it the next morning, but a lot of weird jump starts. Like I don't know if it's when like I was hitting the stop button and then like somebody still had their throttle down for a few minutes, because it would like just it would the race would start again and it would jump start and then it would stop, and I was like, whoa, what is going on? And it's like yelling at us, jump start, and lights are flashing, and it's like, whoa, what is happening? And then it would like calm down and it would restart and it'd be fine. But like every like third or fourth
Yeah.
red flag.
There is an overlap, though, I noticed. Like, if you jumpstart, the computer will continue and say 3, 2, but it's still the red flag and nothing will happen. And then
Yeah.
people are like, oh, okay, I get to go. And then they press
And
it,
then they go again.
and then it just keeps looping. You're like, wait,
Yeah,
let's
that's
just
fair.
let me catch up. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a normal thing. But I did notice something weird, because I had to take apart my track to install the tech slot box. And ever since I did that, I've noticed there's been some dead spots in my track, and I'm only at 40 feet, but I do have four switches now, and now the tech slot box itself. and I'm like, oh, because of unplugging and plugging, I now have more resistance or less resistance. I don't know what's going on. I noticed that. I don't know if that's the same with you. I mean, I know you have the taps, right?
Yeah.
You've tapped your track, so and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is this what everyone's talking about? Because I never experienced this, and now the car's going and it just kind of goes and it takes off, and I'm like, why is it doing that? These cars have never done that before, and I thought it was Smart Race again. Um, and then I realized that Smart Race, when I adjust speeds, so I had to kind of like, as people were racing and I'm marshaling, I'm like, okay, this car is way too fast. Let me lower the speed a bit as we were going. And I realized that if the car is not closer to the CU, the car that's furthest in the back, it'll say it's programmed, but it won't go. Like at one point, one of the cars was really sluggish for one of my cousins, and I said, "Hold on, I'll turn you up," and then it just didn't turn up. He's like, "I don't feel a difference," and I take the car and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't feel like it's at 100%. And then I had to do it twice. And then I realized if the car is not in front of the CU, the program won't go. Like it'll show that it's programmed. But I was
Really?
like, oh, this is I probably don't have enough juice to go all the way around the track to program the car furthest, in the furthest corner. So
Is that because of the tech slot? Because like I
I
don't
don't know if
think
it's
I've
because of
had
the
that
tech slot or
problem.
because, maybe, I don't know, maybe because there's more resistance. This is the first time I've noticed.
Actually, now that I think about it, most of the time that I'm reprogramming or changing speeds, they're like in the starting grid, which is, 3 sections,
Yeah.
max 3 or 4 sections away from the CU. So that's probably not. I'm probably not experiencing the same thing.
But you probably wouldn't because if you have taps in your channel in your track, I think
Well,
that's
and that's the only reason I have taps. Well, I mean, yes, it helps, but the only reason I have is because of those lane gate isolation things. And so there is one spot it doesn't. So like, right when the the signal is going both directions around your loop,
Mhm.
right? That helps because you get it to a dead spot, but then it gets stronger the closer you get back to the unit. But with the lane gates, it creates some weird dead spots. And so like I have well, I'll just walk over there.
Yeah, let's
Look at
do this.
this.
I want to see some racing, bro. Let's see
So
some racing.
like here is, can you see me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my my start finish line. The CU's right there, and I have a double lane gate. And on the double lane gate, you have 2 isolation points right in front of it, and so that automatically creates a dead spot right here. So I have it tapped, so it's fine. But it's tapped like right after that double lane change. And so there is a spot right in here where you can kind of feel it gets sluggish because but mine is exaggerated. Like on a track this size, you shouldn't need it. You absolutely should not need that tap. But because of lane gates, it's not like a slow signal. It's
Well,
no signal.
hold on. How many feet is your track roughly?
I don't know. You always ask me that, and I never remember. I'm gonna say like 45, 50,
No,
60. I have
it's
no
got to be at
idea.
least 50. It's
I
got
have
to be
no
at
idea.
least 50. I think you need taps. I think you
Well, and I think when I do the permanent, I'm just gonna run a bus underneath the whole thing.
yeah.
I'm gonna cut a channel into the foam or whatever the surface it's sitting on, and that way you can just like pop plug in,
Yeah. That's
and
what I got to get.
then it can just plug in every couple of feet,
Well, I wanted to
not
tap
a couple
at
of feet,
least
but
in
every
my
like
new
4 or 5
layout
feet.
because I wanted the check lane, which I think if you have one. Okay. And I definitely wanted to tap right before every switch, and then I still have to figure out the lane gates. I know you said that they should work, but the last thing I want to do is first I want to see that video you're going to come out with on how installing them,
Yeah, one
and
day
then I
I'll do
want
that.
yeah, but then we have to talk about it because I got to make sure that they're analog compatible.
So the thing I'll say about them is they're really cool because they do their job extremely well. They do their job extremely well by not creating nearly as many crashes at lane changes.
Hmm.
But they do their job so well that there's a whole lot less crashes. So it's a whole lot more just like hammer down, you're fine because I can press this lane change and there's very little. I mean, there's basically
There's nothing.
zero risk
Yeah.
of me crashing into that guy. So then you're only slowing down on corners, which is it's cool. I just don't know. Like the biggest thing that it is good for is with ghost cars. So like my brother was in town a couple of weekends ago and we
Hmm.
raced late one night, just the two of us. Right? And
Hmm.
so we put in a bunch of ghost cars to create traffic to make it more fun and more exciting so that you had to change lanes. That was perfect because then the ghost cars never crashed. Because if you have four ghost cars going, eventually they're gonna crash even if you and the other like human racer are nowhere near each other. They're gonna crash. And so it solves that a lot. Which is great. But on the regular racing, it solves a lot of things that are like, oh, it's like kind of a little bit less chaos, which means you have to pay a little bit less attention. But for most of the people that come and race on my track, it's perfect. It's perfect for
Well,
them
well, that's the
because it's
thing, right? Like
one
I want
less
to
thing to worry
focus
about.
because the cars are going so fast. I mean, for us digital full mag guys, um, it happened twice, maybe three times yesterday where I especially when you're marshaling and you're not racing and you actually get to pay attention to everything, which is super fun. Like I was like really like, arguing with everybody. I'm like, no, you crashed here, you put it there, and everyone's arguing. I'm like, hey, I'm the referee, I'm the marshal. That's a penalty. Move your car back. You're done. Like, go. I'm hitting the button. Everyone stop talking. And everyone's like, you're so anal about this. I'm like, yes. Race. Stop having fun. Just race.
Get get back going. So we've
um,
got. I'm
we
like
got a
totally
bunch of us people.
neglecting the chat. We have a ton of people in now. This is awesome. At
Yeah.
least a ton for us. MB Auto Detail, thank you for joining us. I don't know if I said hi. Raul's here. Thank you, bud. Cyberg's here.
Nice. Carlos.
Um,
Raul, hello.
we said hi to Nico. Oh, your boy MP's here.
I know. I saw.
Yeah, a lot of great conversation in there. I'm sorry, guys, for missing you.
Liam actually did. I guess you're asking, did you beat Joe? I guess you're asking that to Liam. We had a lot of fun racing on the Laurentian Speedway. Oh, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, he did. He actually won a race. It's recorded. Um, he raced the Porsche. I believe it was the Porsche. Was it the Porsche, Liam? Yeah, it was the silver Porsche. And that's another thing, too, right? Silver Porsche. We're racing four people. And everyone at the same speed. When you have a slower car like the Aston Martin, um, it catches up. You see it. You see the unfair advantage. And I didn't realize again in the Smart Race app, when you do the Smart Fuel, you cannot adjust the fuel tanks. You can only adjust the fuel tanks if you're doing like the regular Carrera thing, the regular Carrera
Really?
fuel. Yeah, and that's what I found weird because I went in yesterday. I don't know if this is an update, but I'm like, okay, so everyone's got the Porsche, and I'm like, okay, I want to race the Ferrari, so I'm going to bring everyone's fuel tank a little down. And then it said, no, you cannot adjust fuel tank when you're using the. And I'm like, it's kind of weird, I guess, but at the same time, they're using the lap based system, so I guess it kind of balances out, right? Because technically, you're using the set speed. So whatever I have it set at, whatever 4 point something seconds. So anybody faster than 4.2 seconds is gonna burn more fuel. So I guess that's how they do it. So lowering the gas tank or putting a smaller gas tank kind of also like adds too much of a handicap. So I'm like, okay, at least there's one less thing to worry about. Pete, do me a favor.
Yeah,
At the edge of your corner, right there, right?
right here.
Yeah. Walk at a normal pace to the other end of
This
your
way.
table. Yeah. So 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's that? 7 paces?
1, 2, 3, 5, 6. It's 14 feet.
Okay. Like I still didn't grasp the size of your track until I saw you at the corner there, and I'm like, oh man, this guy wants to extend it even more. Like,
I do.
no,
I want to add 4 more feet, but like I said,
no, you're
like
fine.
the
You're
like the
fine.
state living in this house.
You're totally fine. Oh man,
I'm gonna run some laps.
do it.
I'm gonna embarrass myself. see which one's charged force.
Liam, no, go Red Bull. Cyberg's like the Canadian expedition to UK is all here. Yeah, man.
The
That was
whole
some fun
gang,
stuff.
yeah.
That was some fun stuff to watch coming from Raul. And Nico's still posting stuff. It's great. Everyone's still posting. It's what an experience that must have been.
That lovely beep, right?
And I'm just not gonna stop doing what I'm doing. Just watch the race. It's awesome. That's such.
Oh, there it
Oh,
goes.
okay. That's such a good flow. Take us through the track.
You like track pieces?
Yeah. Like bring the car around and be like, okay, explain what's going on.
All right. So start finish line right here. That's a R3 into an R1.
Wow. Okay.
Two plane straights, and then you're in a it's a inside to outside curb lane change.
Okay.
So that's technically an R1. Hit the dead spot. R4 outside to in right lane change. So that's an R1. I think that one's an R1 that I'm on right now. And then what is that? R2, and then the other direction, R2.
Okay.
I think that's an R2 also. That might all be R2s. Because it's not an R1, because otherwise 3 would make a righty, or a full. But that's definitely an R3, R4, double lane change, R3, then a straight, single lane change to the left. We're finding those dead spots really well. R3, R2, R1. I think those are R4s. Yeah, those look like 15s. That's my check lane.
Yeah.
Then R4, R3, R2, R1, straight. Lane change to the inside, which sets up everybody for the pit lane. And then that's R4. I don't think I have that many R4s, but maybe. I think that's actually R2, R1, R2. Because that's like my favorite combo of turns. It's a 2-2-1, 2-2. Because it's real tight and then.
Yeah, I think that's on my new. That's on my new.
2-2-1-1. Yeah. And then, yeah, it's essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 straights before the start finish line with a double lane change right here in the middle. And I've got my little bump out pit. That's for the safety car.
Okay.
And then the other pit is 1, 2, 3 straights long.
So where are you putting the hammer on that? On that? Well, your front straight, but for me the back straight for the camera. But your start finish straight. At what point are you got the hammer down?
Like right there.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
So right about here.
That's coming out of the R1.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't.
right
I'll
after
have to
the
check
R1.
the diagram. Oh, well, yeah, there it goes. That glossy finish on that 911 really lets it slide on its roof.
Well, that's it. Because my longest straight is 8 pieces, and in the new track it's going to be 7. So I'm like, oh, it hurts to lose that, but I think the flow is going to be better. And I'm looking at this, going like, yeah, the curvy additions really help with flow. You know.
Yeah, because you just have
R1. Start
R1. Yeah, so that's gonna.
hurt.
I mean, just having different different radius turns is gonna change the game for you. It's a whole different. I mean, you raced on Raul and
Mass.
Massimo's track, so both of those guys like it makes sense.
No,
Like
for sure.
it'll feel different. It'll yeah. It's and like you said, like that extends out that straight, even though it's not a straight. I wish, and maybe when I do the redesign, I
Show me.
might pull something out and make this end down here. I might make this curve tighter
Hmm.
and make this curve softer because this is my death corner. Like
Well,
it
anything
is
after a long straight like that is a death corner.
because it's 3 and that's an R1. So it's an R3 into an R1 and it's like I mean these these walls
Yeah.
on this edge all the way around there are just covered in paint. They're just and they pop loose because we hit them so hard sometimes.
Oh man, the Carrera. I cracked. I finally cracked one of the guardrails because of the death race corner, and it just snapped because my all my curves are elevated and maybe a little too much, and yeah, people just fly into it, and then to the point where it just those clips, if they're not sitting on the ground and they're in the air, they pop
Yeah,
off. And I'm
yeah,
like, okay, forget it. I don't care. I don't care. Like, just keep racing. And I kind of sort of fix them, but to the point where um, it just basically snapped. Like the plastic was like, I'm done, and it
yeah,
snapped. I got one of my guardrails done, but I don't think I'm gonna put them in my new setup. I might put them on the insides of the track. I think the outsides, I'm gonna keep them. I'm gonna raise them just a little bit, and I'm gonna just you know for the catch fences and hope they do their trick because I find you're doing more damage hitting that guardrail first. I don't know. I just if the car wants to roll, I want to let it roll and catch plastic versus hitting a hard stationary piece of plastic.
yeah.
That's how you lose pieces, I think. And if the car just naturally rolls and hits the catch fence, I think
And catches it, yeah,
you
as
get
it's
less
slowing down.
damage.
Well, that's what I find too, because I all my borders are 3D printed, so they're like half width of a
Yeah,
normal Carrera border, and so it's nice because it saves space, right? I can fit things in certain parts of the track that they would not fit
yeah,
otherwise if I had the regular borders on it. So I like that, but like I did not want to take the wing off of this Porsche because I love how it looks. It's
yeah,
so
exactly.
beautiful, but it sticks out so far from the body that when it slides, it gets caught on that thing and it goes flying. And I'm like, nope, this is the one. I mean, it's my favorite car, and it's the one that I do not want it to get mangled. But Shallowfish, you asked me what I did to the car before I took it off the track with this thing. I think this is maybe what you're asking when I did this, like that. This is a tire cleaner. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. All right, so this is a tire cleaner. I 3D printed it. I found it online. It was actually I didn't find it online. I was watching Marty's stream, and his brother had gotten the 3D printer. It was right after Dusty got the 3D printer, and so he was showing off one just like this. And so I found it. I printed it. I put some like copper tape on there so you can get connection to the car, which I don't have, and this one of course doesn't have the right stuff, but it slots right in there. And then underneath, that copper tape goes through underneath, and then I just jam some Carrera, some old janky Carrera braids in there to get the continuity. And then this is just a Brillo pad. And you can see it's pretty filthy. There you can see it's pretty filthy where the tires go. And I just squirt a little bit of Simple Green all-purpose cleaner. You can probably just do water. I've heard both ways. But I definitely that was my like biggest breakthrough when I started after Joe convinced me to do silicone tires. That was my biggest problem. I'm down here in a loose basement, so there's dust and dirt everywhere. And so, but having that thing ready to go, so you just pop the car on there, you jam on the throttle a little bit, it spins up the tires, and you're good to go. that's what sort of convinced me to stick with it.
I want to if because I just checked the Facebook and there's some. I thought we were gonna get them
Yeah,
on
it
here,
gave me a warning that it wasn't going to show because of some way you listed it.
but I just checked now and it does say public. So I want to apologize to
Yeah.
everyone on the Facebook who's commented. Jean Pierre, Uncle Joe, thanks for tuning in, brother. Maria Lombardo, Malinchuk, all the way from Toronto. Thanks, Emily. Hope you feel better, Em. I know Em's in the hospital right now. She's got some pain that she wants to figure out. So hopefully a speedy recovery, sweetheart. And then Christina, thank you. Yeah, man. Thanks for joining in, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry we're not seeing them, so I just wanted to double check on that because I was like, I want to see if it was actually working. Now be visible and stream to a Facebook profile unless the Facebook stream is set to public, which it is. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we'll figure that out. Apologies for that, guys, but thank you for chiming in. And this was who was I speaking? I think I was speaking to Clearwater about this, and he was like, "Oh, he goes, you're gonna do a live," and he goes, "You something about like telling your friends you have a YouTube channel." I'm like, "No, I don't really speak about my YouTube channel to family." Jen's like, "Oh, Joe's on YouTube, and he's got blah 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 blah," and then I'm like, shh, 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 no, don't tell my family I got YouTube. Like, 42 years old and like playing with toys and putting it on YouTube and. But I'm like, there's nothing to be ashamed about. It's just funny and it's one of those comments, like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, no, man, I'm known in the community and what. And people are like, what are you talking about? What the hell's a slot car? I'm like, oh yeah, okay, never mind. Change subject.
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on.
Next topic, please.
You mean you've never?
Yeah, it's funny because I've like hit on this a few times, but I did a YouTube channel right before the pandemic, I think, and it was about some board game stuff, and I used to make
Yeah.
custom stuff on there. And anyway, when I did that, I made sure to tell everyone I knew about this YouTube channel starting and like come and watch me. And my first video was a premiere, and I had everybody come on and comment on it. And what I quickly discovered is that most of those people had zero, like most of my family have zero interest in board games. Plenty of like my immediate family does, but most of the people that I had joining these, and watching and subscribing the first couple times to help me out did not care about board games at all. And so what wound up happening, and I don't know, this is just my theory, but like YouTube is like, oh, these kinds of people like this video, so I'm going to share it with all these kinds of people that are like them, and none of those people were board game people. So then it was kind of an epic failure. But this time when I did it, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't even tell my wife that I started it. I just
Oh
I
man,
just did
really?
a few videos, and then once it got going and got some traction, then I was like, okay. Then if people ask or if people come down to the track, I'll tell them about it. But it was very, very much opposite this go around. Is it like, nope, I know that there's a slot car community out there. I've seen it happen. I've seen people's channels, blow up and people talking about this stuff. And so it's like I'm just gonna let it organically grow. And then if people find this and watch it, they probably wanna watch more YouTube slot car stuff from me or anybody else. And so
Mhm.
then it'll get a little more
Yeah. And
organic growth, and that's, I think, definitely helped me keep going with it. Although those of you watching are probably like, keep going, you haven't done a video in a couple weeks there, Pete. But summer's crazy for me with work, so sorry guys. But
it's
it
all good.
is interesting not talking about it and not talking about it around family because it's like, oh, I've got 900 subscribers. It's pretty awesome. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And then like they're like, well, I watch Mark Robert. He's got 15 million. When are you gonna hit that? I'm like, there's not 15 million slot car people in the world. I don't think that there aren't that many people who even know what it is,
Well, on
much
on
less
that
watching YouTube.
on that segment, I want to thank all my subscribers because I just hit 501 subscribers, I think a day ago. So thank you to that. I'm gonna do a post just thanking everybody. I guess because everyone does it at 500. mm, You know,
Yeah.
so same like you, right? I did it, and like whatever happens, happens, and I kind of got sidetracked to that. To be like, oh, I got to do this, and as you meet people in the community, like, okay, he's doing this, he's doing that, so what can I? It's like, no, just do what it was you set out to do, to explain your my journey through Carrera and learning stuff. And I love that people are still to this day very patient and like willing to explain. And the interview I did with Nico, I've heard it before, but the way he explained, or just the way he said the gear ratios and how you set the brake, it just clicked for me at that
Yeah.
moment. And I was like, okay, and this is what it's all about. You got to hear something a few more times and someone's going to explain it a certain way. And that's what I love about this hobby. It's just, there's always stuff to learn, and it's great. And I didn't realize how much of a tinkerer I like being, because I'm kind of a lazy person. But speaking of subs, MP Slot Car has hit 11K. And I know with the exception of Europe, but right now for North America, I think he is leading in subs. So congratulations, Massimo.
Well done, sir.
I think we're I want to throw in a little, he's Canadian. But other than that,
I knew it was coming.
but other than that, it's not a competition. It's not a race. I think for the front end of slot cars, I think Massimo was a great poster boy for that. And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I think if poster boy for whatever reason is a bad term, I don't know. But the face of slot cars for North America, we couldn't have anybody better. Not saying there's not great people out there, but I'm glad it's Massimo at this point. So good job, buddy. And don't let us down. Keep doing what you're doing.
Don't let us down. No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. Because I'm coming in June.
It is. You've been like on a.
Like it matters.
MP's been on that like rocket ship trajectory over the last couple of months. It's been awesome, man. So congrats. That's super cool. Hope it keeps going that way, because
absolutely.
Yeah, that just means more and more people are enjoying our hobby. So that's awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Good work.
I'm gonna I think I just said it in the Facebook. I kind of went in there and did what I had to do. Forza Massimo, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And then hey Daniel, how you doing, man? Sorry late to the show. This is good, man. It's not late to the show.
No such thing as late, brother. Don't worry about it.
I mean, we're only getting off in 10 minutes, but that's fine.
Are we? Is that late already?
Dude, you and I just talk.
That's
and we didn't even talk about the stuff we wrote down that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Layouts is like 2 minutes.
That was the whole point of this thing. Teasing everybody.
Oh, no. Yeah, I just love the flow on this guy. Oh, there it is. There's my death corner. See, and then these, I don't know if you can see on the camera. Probably not. Nope. Right off.
You know what I'm curious to see? I'm curious to see. Can you put your hand up to the camera so I can see how you're feathering that thing? Like, I'm curious to see where your breaking points are.
Well, can you see?
It's a little dark. That's a little better for me. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
No, this is super awkward, but we'll see. Well, there.
Okay.
Come on, man. Pressure when you're watching my finger. Jeez. Gah! No, I can't do that. Sorry.
We're not doing this.
No, I can't. It doesn't work. I don't know. It's just the camera's not focusing right. I don't know what's going on. It's interference from the camera. That's what's causing the crashes. Yeah.
It's like you put a camera on your track. You know that you got this pressure all the time.
Yeah, it's just like up in the corner. I don't even notice it. But when I'm like putting my finger in front of it, it's for you to watch how unskillfully I drive. Yeah, it's basically like, the reason I like this one is that like this big from there to around here is like a big straight, then a little bit of technical, and then we'll just put the car there.
God, that was a good drift off the track.
Yeah, that is a great corner.
Dude, I'm loving this view, man. I'm loving this view. And this, we have to develop, we have to continue. And I put it on the back burner for now, but we have to continue. And I have to figure out a way to get, I found an app that would work, a little programming thing that would work for the Arduino. We got to get that remote so I can remote into your track.
Yeah, we've been talking about that since we first met.
I know. I'm just like,
But I like the reason I like this layout the most is that like from down here, like right around this bend to down is a nice long straight, long for me, right? And
Yeah.
then it's a little technical. You got to feather the throttle, and then right about here, you can hammer it till about there. Then you got to slow down again. So it's like even though that's not a straight, since those curves down there are R3, I can hammer
Mm.
right through there just about. And then it's technical again, and then you're hammering, and then technical hammer, technical hammer.
So Slotcar dude wrote
That's how I
that
feel.
something on the controller got you, Joe. And if you guys haven't seen the interview, you'll understand what we're talking about because I don't want to spoil it. So go check that out. Go check out Nico. He explains stuff really well. We get to know him a little bit better. He explained to me a certain way to hold the controller, and I did try it, Nico. Yesterday, well, racing with the fam, I flipped the controller. I used my thumb, and then I had to switch back because it was a little much. But I did find when I went back to analog mode and I switched the box and I used your technique, that's where it comes into play. Because trying to switch, I still have to hold with two hands, and then at that point, I just put the controller back. So if you guys haven't checked that out, it was kind of an eye opener moment and kind of interesting. Unless you give me the okay, I'll I'll mention it on this one. But by next live, I'm gonna expose all your tricks, all your tricks. But if you haven't, go check out that video. I think it's in 23-minute mark. Even if you guys want to just fast forward to that, I'll allow that. But go check out that interview with Nico. He's got a really interesting way of how he holds the controller. But yeah, I did try it, and I enjoyed it more on the analog side, just because now I'm starting to learn. Even for R1s, I know exactly where to kick out, so the car will grab and do that nice
That's on
flip.
a trigger controller, right? You're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
need to.
Oh, but there's a certain way he holds it that I just blew my mind, which I was like,
That's
okay,
cool.
yeah. You'd think I'm like it's the simplest thing, and then you're like, Pete, don't worry, I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, that's why I wasn't racing very well because I like to hold my Carrera controller like this and race. That's why.
There you go. You're the
There's my
pinky guy.
secret. Yeah, I'm a pinky guy.
That's why.
They can see you.
It's okay. It's all good. Do I fight it?
Yeah, yeah. We're getting ready to head down to the cabin today for it's a
Nice.
Memorial Day weekend down here. So we're heading down to the cabin for some barbecue and four wheeling.
Nice, man.
So it should be fun.
We're slowly losing people because I think the F1's on. I think the
Is it?
qualifying.
We're dropping. We're still
No,
at
no,
19, dude. That's like a new record.
no. We really appreciate you guys coming on, and you know, we're trying to keep up. We're still learning this stuff, trying to keep up. I'm like, why? No one. I'm like, nobody's commenting for the past 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, you got to scroll down. You have to scroll down. Morning, Tuju Slakars. Tuju Slakar Racing. Morning. That's a channel I got to check out. Thank you very much. Which is
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff. That's the one where you've got like an arcade in your slot car room, right, buddy? It's rad. You got to watch his stuff.
yeah. No,
You got a
I'm
bunch of
sorry, I haven't
arcade
written that
cabinets down there.
This is the first, and I feel bad, but I'm glad. I was like, oh, someone new, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Do you know? I tried to count, and my eyes just went cross-eyed. How many teeth are on the Carrera Crown?
No idea.
Come on. Okay, I got to do this now. I can't. I put a little mark. Let's count together. It's a counting
I don't
show.
have one available.
Unless someone can just tell me,
I'm sure somebody knows.
please, so I don't have to do this. Oh, you killed my camera.
Yeah, sorry.
1, 2. Oh man, I gotta take off my glasses. I can't do this. Where is it?
There we go. We're back.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I can't do this. This is not.
Yeah, you'd have to like mark one or something.
I did.
I'm sure it's somewhere.
There's got to be a standard, and I'm just curious.
927 is what Conquest says. That's what Raul says.
There's not 927 teeth on here.
No. 9 on the pinion, 27 on the crown.
Oh, okay. I'm so upset. Like, there's not 927 on here.
Yeah, it'll take you all day. We don't have enough time for that, Joe. Nobody wants to see you count to 927.
My eyes are hurting. I tried it 5 times before the stream, and I'm like, 9 and 27. Okay, good to know. 9 and 27. Because Slot Invasion just restocked their axle kits. So I got to see about that. And then I got to fix this. And this is why something else, right? I've seen people, I know, use super glue your motors in, right?
No, I hot glue.
Hot glue, sorry. One. 27 teeth. No, dude, my eyes go cross-eyed. I can't. But yeah, the hot glue. So I'm having issues with this motor again on my Expo, and I'm starting to think that it's a chip issue now. Because this guy will like wave, it'll go, and I'm like, okay, this is a new motor. This is like a new replacement motor, and it's giving me the same thing. So I don't know if it's just bad luck that it just didn't break in properly, but I'm glad I did not hot glue this in, and I got this guy here, because to take that out would have been such a pain.
Oh, but that's why I use hot glue, because it pops loose. I mean, with a good tug, it comes loose. In fact, some of mine after a big crash, they come loose. So I got to re-glue them in.
Oh.
But hot glue, like, it sticks really well, but like, especially on plastic, like if you give it a tug, it pops right off.
Oh, okay.
It's like a hot glue gun, not like super glue.
Yeah, I keep saying super glue. I don't mean super glue. I mean hot glue.
And I do it like I saw on Dave from Slot R. I saw on his channel, he squirts it through those vents in the bottom. And that's how I do it now. And then use a razor to clean it up.
But I don't know. I have an issue with like ventilation. I think those vents.
I said the same thing. In fact, I commented that on his video, and he made a fair point that, one, if it gets that hot, it's melting that hot glue no matter what. Like the melting temperature of hot glue is low enough that if it gets that hot, you're in bigger trouble. But yeah, I mean, I get it.
No, but I disagree with that because, not to cut you off, but I disagree with that because, okay, you're right. If the motor were to get that hot for a safety reason, blah, 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 it would melt anyway. Fine. However, those vents, the air passing underneath, is acting like your heat sink, because there's no heat sink on that thing. So that air passing is grabbing that heat and pushing it out the back, right? Now we're talking 132 scale. So what that's doing is that it's actually lowering the heat. So heat absorbs energy. You lose energy through heat, right? This whole thing with cars. I know at least that much. So in my head, at a micro fracture, now does this make a difference on the track? Maybe on the 124 cars. But if you block your coolant, if you're cooling that motor, and that motor is just a little bit warmer than it should be, are you gaining performance? On a digital track, probably doesn't make a big difference. But on racing, but if we're trying to get these cars, plus what's the weight of the glue dried versus tack? Right? Like these are the things that go through my head. Like I'm thinking,
and I guess like
I want that motor cool.
Yeah, no, I get it. And the video that I watched it on and that I used it on was sounds like there's an elephant moving upstairs. But there is on the video I watched it on is the one where he's trying to make those 4 cars basically like an IROC series, so they're all tuned the same.
Yeah.
And so, and my biggest reason why I do it, and same big benefit from him is that you don't want it to move around, but it's also like if it's not moving around, then the whole car is just that much quieter, and that much quieter is that much. I like that more than trying to do it. Plus, like I run at like 70%. I'm not running at 100%. I'm not, I'm certainly not looking for top performance either. So, but yeah, I mean, I've heard both. I talked to Dave about it at length when I was asking about it, and I pulled the trigger and was like, "Yep, screw it," because course, I pick up the one car I didn't do it to. But yeah, like you can kind of see
Yeah.
hot glue. But yeah, I'm sure there's benefits. I'm probably gonna
can't.
wear them out faster than I should.
I can't. I can't bring myself. I cannot bring myself. When I have the motor in place, here we go. You got
Press a bit down at the end of the line.
yeah. Sorry, I should be reading in my head. We should be reading out loud. We're bad hosts.
Oh, I get what he's saying. So like, if he's drawing a line of hot glue at the end, he lifts it up a little bit so that you have a tab to pull to rip it off.
There you go. And then Conquest.
Yeah, he's in your boat. I get that. It is a heat sink. I understand that. I totally understand. But it might have been like that now for 3-4 months. Whenever he came out with that video, and I have had no problems. So I also don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's the point of how like. And Daniel and I were talking about that. Daniel Thomas. He had said like when you take out the magnets, you feel more. There's a sense of like more accomplishment because you learned the car and you don't have like the wheels on or whatever. And I get that 100%.
Yeah.
And then so I guess with with Raul was saying it's called for losing power. I'm in that mindset like you just said because my proudness of my cars is like well no like I want the most optimal performance I can. That I feel good about these cars to be like, well, I tuned it this way because this is how I think physics work in my basement, and that's what it is. It's all minor, like back and forth. If you're okay with supergluing them, then there's no issue. I'm not like, oh, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. And I think like that, and that's the biggest difference, which is why I love this like group of people, is because like your approach to getting your cars tuned and like ready to go is that you want to squeeze every last little like bit of performance out of a Carrera car as you can.
Mhm.
Whereas like when I'm trying to get them, I'm much more like I want these cars to be as even as possible because I want somebody to come down and be able to pick any car in my stable and be like, and I won't be like, ooh, that's not the one you want to pick. Like
Yeah.
other than this one, I don't care that this is the one that nobody should pick because it hardly has any parts left on it anyway. I hate this thing.
You really hate it, eh? Like
I hate it.
I raced with it, and I raced against. I mean, it was a newbie. I took it yesterday, and I'm like, what? Because in my head, how I choose my cars is which car haven't I raced in a while? Because I got to break in that motor to catch it up. And I took the Beamer. I'm like, oh, let me grab the Beamer, and I raced with my cousin on that. It was our second race. I beat him twice, but not by much because we were really neck and neck. And he had he was racing the Audi. So the Audi, the R8 is just super fast. So I'm like, okay, well, that's my handicap. I'm going to have to catch up because I know the gear ratios are wrong. We're racing at the same speed. And even if I'm keeping up with him, he's going to, people always end up overlapping just the way my track is so simple that's what it is. Like if you have a faster car, then it's just going to overlap naturally.
Yeah.
And at the end, the only reason why I beat him is because even though I was on the outside lane, I knew where to hammer it. Right, to be like, if I hammered this car and he doesn't because he's worried about, he's still feeling the flow, and that's how I beat him by fractions of a second at the end. But technically he should have won because had he known that technique, the car would have outbeat the Beamer. But I still had fun with it, and it was just I'm surprised that you hate it so much. It's just
just hate it. I don't know.
Oh, man.
I just don't like it. I don't know.
Oh, and I apologize, Tofu. I don't know why I was trying to pronounce your name Toju. Is it Toju or is it Tofu?
It is Toju.
Oh, okay.
I think Dan typed Tofu.
Oh, okay. And I'm like, oh,
it's Toju.
I'm like, I just got one coffee in and I can't pronounce tofu.
Yeah, no. You read it right.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's about that time.
We are, my friend.
We're about an hour in. This was a blast. I think we already have people dropping off to go watch Formula One, like you said. Which
is fine. I want to do something here. I want to comment and see if it's going to pop up fast. Little. Thanks everyone. Let's see if it pops up now. Probably not, but because I'm the creator.
There it is. Yeah, I did see it.
It popped up. It worked. Awesome.
Yeah.
Joey to Wolves. Guy, yeah, it sucks that I can't get on the Carrera Facebook page, but I
We'll
should have
figure it out.
probably shared that. I forgot to do that. Oh boy. Oh well. Okay, we're learning. We're learning. I don't know how you
Yeah,
do this in 2 weeks without you, bro.
you'll survive.
Oh man.
It's not that hard. And Dan, to answer your question, yes, this is EV Mux. This is what we're using, and that's why Joe will be able to handle it because it's super easy. But yeah, as soon as we convince you to use OBS, we switch to this, Dan. So
Well, I'm still going to use OBS for my personal track stuff.
it's great for a lot of stuff. It is
Yeah.
great for a lot of stuff. It's just when you're on the fly trying. And if I was doing lives with just me, or you were doing lives with just you, OBS would be perfect. As soon as you add in a guest, that's when it's tricky. And Raul can attest to that when we had to like invite him to this other thing, and then he couldn't see the comments. And it was just like, this all in one place, super easy.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's all we got. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Don't forget to join the Discord. Link is in the description. So hop on that, join the conversation. We're pushing like 40, 50. I think we're over 40 now. Almost 50 people on there, which is awesome.
Yeah, man.
So, and it's just a conversation all day long, every day. Whenever people are thinking about slot cards, they're putting stuff on there. So definitely join it. Join us. Be part of that conversation. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, what else you got? Anything?
Thank you. Thanks for 500 subscribers. Thank you, MP, for getting to 11K. Some good stuff. It's always great talking to you, Pete, honestly, and I'm glad we get to share this with everybody, and I'm glad everyone seems to enjoy it because they hop on, and I saw the conversation going on their own, and it's great, man. We're just trying to, if you guys have anything you guys want to talk about, by all means, let us know. It's a community for everybody, just like the Discord. It's not our Discord. People are like, oh, Joe and Pete's Discord. I'm like, no, we're just running the back end. It's everyone's Discord. It's the community Discord. Trying to push that.
I don't do anything, to be honest. Joe does it all, but to be fair.
But I do pass everything through you, so I try not to make any executive decisions without your approval, because it was I had that idea back in the day, and then back in the day before 2024, and I saw your video, and I'm like, I gotta call this guy because I feel really bad about starting a Discord, because it seems like you really wanted to, and I ended up just doing it on my own, so it's fine.
And then here we are, 6 months later or whatever it was. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone. We will, not we. Joe will be back in 2 weeks. So flying solo. So make sure to give him some support. And I'm sure he'll be much better at posting the video more than like 24 hours ahead of time. So yeah, probably get a better audience than we do when I do it. But appreciate everyone. I think it was a new record on viewers today, so that's awesome. Yeah. Really appreciate everybody coming on, and we have a blast. So I hope you guys have a blast too. All right. But that's all we got for now.
Have a great weekend, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks.